to a Porto player, one of their strikers, not Musa Marega, but I forget his name. He gets a red card for time wasting because he just booted a ball into the stands. It was kind of funny. But he gets a red card. It was a second yellow. And from this point on, Porto are playing with 10 men. It went all the way to extra time. And even with the 10 men, let me just say, by the way, Pepe, outstanding performance from, I think he's 36. 36-year-old center back. I think he had like 18 clearances and I forget the stats. I should look back, but it was nuts. He was all over the place defensively against his former teammate, Cristiano Ronaldo. Where was Ronaldo, by the way, in this game? Does anybody know? I have to eat my words here because on a show a couple weeks ago, I was talking about how if I had to pick one person in the entire world to will my team to victory in a big game, it was Cristiano Ronaldo. And he did not show up. He didn't. I have no idea what happened. Anyway, they get to extra time, and there's a free kick at the top of the box after Wes McKennie gives up a very weak foul. Let me just say, I don't think it was a foul in the first place, and maybe it's my U.S. men's national team bias. Maybe. But a free kick is given, and if you are a football coach, a soccer coach, and you want to show your team how to not set up a wall for a free kick, this is exactly the highlight that you look at. This was by far one of the worst walls you will ever see in football. Ever. It was terrible. Ronaldo scared of the ball. Whoever else was in the wall moving sideways. They didn't stay together. They jumped. Nobody was behind. Oliveira just puts it through the wall, right under just about, and scores from maybe 23 yards out. Now, in my opinion, as a goalkeeper, or a former goalkeeper, Szczesny should have done a lot better, but he didn't. And, man, he scores, and Porto win the tie on away goals. Just insane stuff, man. Insane stuff. That is one of the, I called it the wall of death. It was terrible. So bad. It sucks to see Wes McKennie go out. But yeah, Porto go through and Dortmund go through. Like I said, I'm 0 for 2 on Champions League predictions. We'll see what happens this week. We have Man City versus Mönchengladbach on Tuesday, as well as Madrid versus Atalanta. I don't really have much to say about Man City and the Mönchengladbach. I think Man City are up 2-0. I don't think Mönchengladbach have a chance. But I do want to say, shout out to Manchester United for winning the derby. Breaking the 21-game win streak by Man City. That's my club. Anyway, also Madrid versus Atalanta. That game was very boring until Ferland Mendy scored to give them the 1-0. If Madrid get another goal, Atalanta might be screwed because they'll have the away goal and then be up 2. So Atalanta would have to score 3 in this game to move on. And also Madrid, when we look at that last lineup that they had, and you look at their bench, I had no idea who was there. They have a lot of injured players coming back. So that's good for them. But as for Atalanta, they've only lost 3 games since December. Against Real Madrid, against Inter Milan, and against Lazio. 3 very, very good clubs. It's not like they're playing bad. 1-0 is not a lot. If they can hold strong defensively, then they have a chance. You also have Chelsea Atletico on Wednesday, which should be good and exciting. Hopefully Pulisic plays like he played today. We'll see. It's going to be exciting stuff. I'm going to be talking for the next probably 2 segments here about the U.S. men's national team. I have a lot to say. And maybe I'm getting on it early, but I'm just so excited. So excited. Sundays at 9 a.m., Juan Cardona dominates the airwaves with Juan on Juan. From sneakers to video games to your favorite South Florida team. Tune in every Sunday to Juan on Juan exclusively on the home for sports talk in South Florida. That's right, onsideradio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at onsideradio.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
You know,
it's so rough being a Yankee fan. It's so rough. It's so hard, I know. Oh,
it really is. I mean, they haven't been. I was there in '09. I was in New York the last time that they went to the World Series. It's been a long time now for them. And no, they're the Phillies of the AL. They brought the band back, and what did they actually do? Kluber any better than Tanaka? Like, is their pitching any better, or are they just again relying on the health of Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge?
Oh gosh.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this. Visit cityfurniture.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, welcome back. I'm going to call this next segment and I'm going to do this every single week, I think. State of the U.S. Men's National Team Address. I thought it was pretty good, because, the president has the State of the Union address. This will be the State of the U.S. MNT address. I thought it was all good. Maybe it's not. Let me know. And actually, let me tell you how to let me know. You can text the text line, 844-416-8123. I can respond, say what's up. Any thoughts that you guys have, bring them in. Would love to hear it. You can also, reply on Twitch, YouTube, go in the chats, whatever it is. And you can also now listen to Onside Radio anywhere. Subscribe to your favorite podcast by downloading the radio.net app. Download radio.net in your app store, search Onside Radio. It's where the South Florida sports fan calls home. Did you know that? But no, yeah, send a text out. Reach out. Let's have some fun today. I'm going to have some fun with my new segment here. State of the U.S. Men's National Team Address. I'm just going to be going over all of my thoughts on the U.S. Men's National Team. It's always ever-changing. There's always something to talk about with the U.S. Men's National Team, with all of the talent we have around the world. And especially now, all the way through the end of the year, there's always going to be a tournament or a game or something to talk about, always. Coming up in a couple days, we have the Olympic qualifying for the U23s. It's in Mexico. It'll be from the 18th through the 30th. Actually, like I don't know if you guys heard, I was talking with David Dwork about this. It's going to be coached by Jason Kreese, who is also an Inter Miami CF assistant. He coached Fort Lauderdale CF last year, I believe. And now he's moved up to as Phil Neville's probably number 2, I would assume. So there's that. That's pretty cool. He's always been involved with the U.S. men's national team. He has been for a long time. So with him being, around here is also really good. Very, very good coach. And hopefully we can make some noise in qualifying and in the Olympics in general. I mean, let's qualify and let's go. It would be really, really, really cool. As for the first team, couple games finally got announced. We obviously knew about the Northern Ireland game on March 28th. And then I think on last week's show I was talking about how they teased that they were going to announce the other friendly on March 25th. And it was announced. It's Jamaica. They're going to be playing in Austria, I think in the same place that they played. Who was it? They played Wales and, wow, totally slipped my mind. But they'll be playing Jamaica and Austria, and then the Northern Ireland game is going to be in Northern Ireland. And it's exciting stuff. Jamaica, I've seen on Twitter that they're getting very, very pumped up about this and how they're just better than the U.S. men's national team, which is, I won't get into it too much. No, I will. I want to talk about the U.S. men's national team, though, and this first team that is possible for this international window, because it is an international window, and we will be able to see our best talents in the starting 11. And on Twitter, I've gotten around a lot of to following a lot of different U.S. men's national team accounts, getting so many different perspectives, and this one, as in a potential lineup, I really like the best. I don't think Greg Berhalter will pull this off. I don't think he will. I think he will stick to a 4 at the back, but there's a 3 at the back here that is very, very enticing to me. So Zach Steffen obviously will probably play in goal. He's the number 1. No Matt Turner, no nothing. It's Zach Steffen in my opinion. Then you also have Mark McKenzie, John Brooks, and Chris Richards as your 3 potential starting center backs. Now, a lot of people will say Miazga. Not a personal fan of Miazga at all. So I'm going to stick with Mark McKenzie here. John Brooks, obviously, I think he's probably our best center back, most consistent center back at the moment. And Chris Richards, after getting loaned to Hoffenheim from Bayern, I mean, I was high on him when he was at Bayern. But he's starting every week for Hoffenheim, and they've been playing pretty well. So I'm excited about Chris Richards and his potential, and I think he could be starting games for the U.S. men's national team in a couple weeks. So those are the 3 center backs I would see. And then as for the wing backs, Serginho Dest, absolutely. As a right wing back, it would allow him the ability to move forward. And he started his career at the Ajax Youth as a winger. This guy's got talent, dude. Watch what he does for Barcelona. He's so underrated. So underrated, in my opinion. He does a lot of things right, especially attacking wise. So if he can be utilized in a right wing back role, I would be very, very excited. And then on the left side, I have to give a shout out here to Anthony Robinson. I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, move Dest on the left and start Cannon, or I don't know. So Yedlin on the right and move Dest over. I don't think that's something that we should do. I think we should keep one of our best players in his prime position. And that's Serginho Dest as a right back. I think we should keep it there. And Anthony Robinson plays week in and week out for, yes, they're fighting out of relegation, but Fulham, he's not had the greatest season in terms of quality. But he's playing in the Premier League every single week, man. Every single week, Anthony Robinson is a starter for Fulham. And he's not been great. I'm not giving him a 10 out of 10, but I genuinely think that this is the guy to play left back for the U.S. men's national team. And if it's in a left wing back role, fine. But I like this. So that goes for the defense. And in the midfield, you are going to hear a name or you're not going to hear a name. And I'll tell you why. But the two people I have in the midfield in this 3-4-3 formation is Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams. I am excited about these two guys. They are two of my favorite players in the national team. Weston McKennie is my number one favorite player in the national team right now. I think he actually, for me, beats out Pulisic for best player. But Tyler Adams has been balling out for Leipzig. Now that they've moved him into a central role and let him play and dominate the midfield, he's been playing better and better, putting in really good performances. But he's a versatile guy. Sometimes they have to play him out at right back, or I don't even know. They throw him everywhere. They really do. But Tyler Adams in the midfield and Wes McKennie in the midfield, that is huge. That is such a good midfield, man. I'm excited for it. And then going forward, you have Giovanni Reyna, who hopefully he comes back from injury. Christian Pulisic. And then number 9 is Josh Sargent. I'm going to get into this in the next segment because I don't have enough time, and I want to talk about strictly strikers. I'm tired of the debate. It's Josh Sargent. But I'll get into that later. Whew, I got to calm down for a second. Now, I didn't list Yunus Musa in this lineup because there's still a potential he does not play for the U.S. men's national team. Do I think it would be smart for him to move over and play for England? No. No. I think he should play for us because he has a chance to play major competitions as a starter. But I'm not going to say for sure that he's going to play here or play for the U.S. team. So I'm going to manage my expectations. But if he is there, if he does decide to pick the U.S. men's national team, throw away this 3 at the back. You have to have a midfield consisting of Wes McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Musa. It could be dominant. Musa is not playing great at the club level. He started off really well. He got subbed on the other day. Yesterday, actually, in a Valencia loss. But he is better than any other midfielder that we have other than Tyler Adams and Wes McKennie. And he could be very, very important. He was very important in a couple games that we had earlier on last year. And he would really, really, lift this midfield. With those 3 guys would be, dominant. It would just be dominant. It could be dominant. It won't be right away. They're obviously very young, but they have a potential to be dominant, and I would love to see that. I said Dest was playing very well, and I said Reyna was coming off a slight injury already. If those 2 guys are able to come and that right side could be really, really, really good. Especially if Tyler Adams would probably play on the right side of the midfield too, so you'd have the Reyna, the Adams, and the Dest to link up. Whew! That is exciting. And I think that if you did see, something about Gio Reyna playing on the right wing role, I think that he would be given the ability to move centrally if need be. Maybe play Pulisic and Sargent as, two strikers and have Reyna as a center attacking mid. It would be very versatile and very fluid because Reyna thrives on the ball. He's not just a winger. He's got way more qualities than that. So that's something you would have to look for if this were to happen. And then Pulisic at Chelsea. Now, he started today for the first time ever under Thomas Tuchel, which, fine. He did not impress, I would say. I think they took on Leeds, and it wasn't the greatest performance from Pulisic, but he finally got his first start at Chelsea under Tuchel, and that's good, because he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and it was like, what's wrong? What has Pulisic done wrong? And Thomas Tuchel would be asked so many different questions, and he would kind of just say the same answer. Pulisic has the potential to be, a major player in this team, but well, then play him. I don't know. Hopefully he gets more time going forward. I really want to see it. We know how talented Pulisic can be. He literally lifted Chelsea into the top 4 in Project Restart almost by himself. Such a talented player, and if he is to leave Chelsea, everybody is going to be going for him. He's that good. Whether it's Bayern or any other top 6 club. Obviously, Chelsea have a lot of attacking talent at the moment, but I still think Pulisic needs a chance. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the number 9 situation, and I have another debate that I want to talk about in the next segment, too, with the U.S. men's national team. Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chin-Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. It's every day from 10 a.m. to noon for Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
Ryan Fitzpatrick enjoys playing, being on the field, rallying his team, being the leader. And Dolphins will not bring him back here because he would still be the leader of the team, and they need Tua to transition to be the leader of the team. They don't need to, every minute Tua does something wrong or struggles, the team looks at Ryan Fitzpatrick like, come rescue us. That's not the situation that the Dolphins want for Tua. As good as the situation as it was for the Dolphins last season, Ryan is unhappy. He wanted to play, deserved to play, and he's going to try to find a place that'll allow him to play.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back here for the rest of our new State of the U.S. Men's National Team address. I just went through this starting 11, and I'm just... The U.S. Men's National Team right now is at a point that it's never been at before, and I think we all know this. The talent pool has fully evolved, and I got into it with somebody the other day about how the domestic league no longer has, and it honestly, I mean, it tried to, but it no longer has a direct correlation to the talent pool. MLS and the U.S. Men's National Team are almost becoming separate. And the 11 that I named you, I'm going to go through them and talk to you about why I say this. Pulisic played for some random team in Pennsylvania where he grew up. He went to Dortmund at 16, didn't touch an MLS team, no MLS academy, nothing. Same thing with Sargent, went straight to Werder Bremen at 18, no MLS. Reyna, New York City FC Academy, never touched an MLS pitch. McKinney, FC Dallas Academy. Adams, New York Red Bulls Academy. Anthony Robinson, only the Everton Academy. Serginho Dest, Ajax Youth Academy. John Brooks, German Academies. Chris Richards, FC Dallas Academy. Now, one of those guys I just named stepped on a field for an MLS team in a regular season game. That's 9 out of the 11 players, and I think what's possibly our best 11. The only 2 that have are Mark McKenzie and Zach Steffen. Mark McKenzie came through the Philadelphia Union Academy, played in MLS from 18 to 21, and moved on to Belgium when he was ready. Good for him. But that's less than 10% of a starting 11. And then also Zach Steffen. Goalkeeper is a little different because you can honestly find a goalkeeper anywhere, but he was also in the Union Academy. He played for the Crew and then moved on to Man City, was loaned down to Dusseldorf, and now is back at City as the number 2. That's just who I think could play as a starting lineup. It's not mentioning Reggie Cannon, Yunus Musa, Matthew Hopp, Sebastian Soto, Conrad De La Fuente, and obviously Timothy Weah, who I am very high on. I want the MLS to be a successful league. I really, really do. But in order for the U.S. Men's National Team to succeed, you do not have to have a good domestic league anymore. That's what the thought was. That's why they limited, the international roster slots, and there's these homegrown rules, and you have to have all of these things for the MLS to grow and help Americans. But at this point in time, the talent pool has fully evolved, and you do not need that. I want MLS to be successful. I think there are multiple ways for MLS to do better, but I'm not going to get into that. Just know I don't think that it directly correlates to the success of the men's national team. Do I think it would help if the MLS was a better league? Yes, absolutely. That's no question. There is no question that if the MLS was a top tier league in the world, the U.S. men's national team would be better. If soccer was a bigger sport here in America, the U.S. men's national team would be much better. Sure. But right now, for the next 6 to 8 years to come, this team has the talent to do something big. I can guarantee you that all of the names in that starting 11, Josh Sargent, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Anthony Robinson, Wes McKinney, Tyler Adams, Serginho Dest, John Brooks, Mark McKenzie, Chris Richards, and Zach Steffen. That average age is probably around 22, 23 years old, maybe 24, of a starting 11. That's insane to me. These people have not even entered the primes of their career. Timothy Weah is still young. Reggie Cannon's young. Musa's young. Matthew Hopp's young. Conrad's young. And there's more names that go on. Jordan Morris, if unfortunately tore his ACL, I believe. Hope he recovers well. You have Luca De La Torre playing in the Netherlands, who's 22. There are just so many names now all over the world that are a part of this talent pool that had nothing to do with the MLS. If the MLS was better, sure. Maybe the U.S. men's national team would not have, had its struggles in recent years. But at this point, I don't want to think about that because we don't have to anymore. Because all of these names are getting big on an international stage, playing in the top leagues in the world, and actually playing very successfully. So don't give me... Just wait. Just wait and see. Let's see what this team can do in 2026. Sure, you have to be patient, but you have to understand these guys are young. This is just the beginning. As for the number 9, I said I was going to get into this. Look. Daryl Dike is a baller. I get it. And I actually do want to talk about Daryl Dike here for a bit. But before I do, let me just say Josh Sargent is the national team's number 9, and it's not a question anymore. He's been unbelievable for Werder Bremen as a 20-year-old. It doesn't look, when you look at the stats, it doesn't look great. But if you look at the way Werder Bremen plays, it doesn't really give him the chance to be a great striker. He's one of the most defensive strikers in the league. At the moment, he ranks in the top 90% of all forwards in pressures, tackles, interceptions, blocks, and clearances. Unbelievable in the press. Berhalter's going to love him. He's been very, very, very efficient. He scores good goals. His movement in the box is really good. If you watched his last goal that he scored for Werder Bremen, yeah, he scored right on the line, but it's because he got to that point. He beat the defender the way he moved in the box. He's good. And he is the number 9, and I want to see him as a number 9, and people need to start thinking of Josh Sargent as a national team striker. Matthew Hopp has a shot at this, man. He's young. He's 18. Also playing well in Bundesliga. Hasn't played well as of late, but remember when he scored that hat trick, everybody was going crazy. The players I don't want to see are the Giassi Zardez's, the Josie Altidores. That's done. I don't think there's a spot for them in the men's national team anymore. Giassi Zardes is a great MLS player. Scores all the time. Altidore is a great MLS player. Has done it before. But he's done with the U.S. men's national team, man. It's over. It's time for these new kids to come in, whether it be if it isn't Josh Sargent, maybe it is Daryl Dike. Maybe it is Giacchini. Maybe it is Jesus Ferreira. Maybe it is Tim Weah. I don't know. There's so much to be said about who should be the number 9, but at the moment, right now, I don't want to see any more disrespect for Josh Sargent. This is the guy. Right now it is. I'm not saying, nobody can come out and check out Josh Sargent as the starting number 9, but in terms of overall quality, performances in Europe, it's Josh Sargent. Now, I said I'll get to Daryl Dike. I'm going to do this quickly. moved over to Barnsley on a loan deal and has been scoring ridiculous goals. He just doesn't stop scoring. I don't know what it is. I saw a report yesterday or the day before that Daryl Dike is worth now about $10 million or pounds, whatever the number is. A top 6 Premier League club reached out to Orlando City to buy Daryl Dike for $10 million. And Orlando City turned it down. There's a $20 million option for Barnsley, but they will never be able to afford that. I don't think they would. Maybe they will. But there's a $20 million option there. But Orlando's going to sell this guy for a lot of money. I don't know if it'll be for $10 million. I think that was a very high offer at the moment, and it was, a hype offer, and I think Orlando is very stupid for not taking it. But that is something that they should have done. But Daryl Dike, that's another name you can look at. There's a lot of options as a number 9s. A lot. Just know that I think Josh Sargent is the guy going forward, and I really want to see him in a U.S. shirt because we haven't seen it yet with all these talented guys. Not yet. Saturdays, sports fans have a place to talk sports and gambling when the J-Rod Experience takes over every afternoon. Tune in every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. as Jim provides you the sports investment information you need to have a little fun on the weekends. That's the J-Rod Experience, 2 to 4 p.m. only at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
A message to help keep you safe. If doctors told us today that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, saving thousands of lives, we would rejoice. Finally, a good news day. We'd feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy. We'd start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Get the brutal honesty every weekday noon to 3 p.m. with a Big O and the Onside Zone on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. I cook
boy.
all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl. All right.
If I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10. Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right. Right before we wrap up the first hour here, I want to go around the world and look at all of the men's national team players. Men's national team players who are playing today. Just today. First, as I mentioned, you had Christian Pulisic start against Leeds United for Chelsea. Anthony Robinson will probably get the start for Fulham against Manchester City, who has Zach Steffen as their backup keeper. You have an American versus American in the championship. You have Cameron Carter-Vickers for Bournemouth playing against Daryl Dike for Barnsley, who they'll both probably get the start. I don't know if Paul Areola will start for Swansea versus Luton Town today, but there's another one. And I'm not done yet. Josh Sargent took a loss today to Bayern Munich. Did not, extend his however many games in a row scoring streak. Matthew Hopp versus John Brooks. It was Schalke versus Wolfsburg. John Brooks, I saw put in an insane performance today in a clean sheet. I don't have the stats in front of me at the moment, but that game ended, I think, 4-0 in favor of Wolfsburg. Sorry, or 5-0. Sorry, I missed one. Weghorst, by the way, I used to talk so much on the show about inevitabilities in soccer. Weghorst scoring for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga is one of those. He just always does it. Always does it. If I look at the defensive stats here, okay, so John Brooks was 61 for 70 in passes, okay? That's good. And 80 total touches. 6 out of 8 accurate long balls. He won 3 duels, had 3 clearances, 2 extra headed clearances. 2 for 2 on one-on-one tackles. He won an aerial duel and had 17 recoveries, as Wolfsburg kept a clean sheet. Matthew Hopp did not start today. Now that I'm looking at the Schalke team. Matthew Hopp was not a starter. He wasn't even in the team. I do not know if he's injured. I have not seen anything about him being injured. I don't know why he wouldn't be in the team. Oh, he was. Okay, he got subbed on. I didn't see it. Got subbed on in the 72nd minute. Did he do anything? Not so much. He had a shot. It got blocked. That's about it. So, there's that. You also have Giovanni Reina, who's probably going to end up playing today for Dortmund at 12:30 against Hertha Berlin. And I've got more. In Austria today, Brendan Aronson is starting for Salzburg. He did start for Salzburg. Another Philly Union product. Did touch the MLS field, but got out very quickly at a very young age. In Turkey, you have 2 other players who you might know the names of. DeAndre Yedlin, of course. He got the start today for Galatasaray. And then Tyler Boyd, who we have not heard about in a long time. I was actually high on him, but then Besiktas kind of just said, nope, you're not part of our team anymore, like out of nowhere. I'm not sure what that was all about. But he's still playing in Turkey. Tyler Boyd, he started today for his club out there. I think the game is still going on, so I don't know. He hasn't scored or anything just yet. Maybe he'll score later. I don't know. And then lastly, you have Reggie Cannon, the right back for Boa Vista in Portugal. They're playing against Benfica today. So that is a big game. It's a huge, huge game. Tomorrow, you'll have Timothy Weah against Monaco, which that French league, by the way, it's getting close. It's getting really close. 28 games played for both PSG and Lille. And, I'm obviously rooting for Lille here. I want Timothy Weah to win the league. But Lille's only up by 2 points, and there's still 10 games left. So PSG still have a chance. Again, this game against Monaco for Lille is huge. As for PSG, they play Nantes, who are about to get relegated. So expect a win there. For Lille, they really need to they can lose their number one status in the league if they don't get a win against Monaco tomorrow. So that's big. Then you also have Chris Richards for Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga tomorrow, and Tyler Adams for Leipzig. You might have Weston McKennie for Juve. U.S. men's national team players are everywhere, and that is a good thing. And we've never had this before. I just say I'm done. Don't worry, I'm done talking about the men's national team. Right after this, we're gonna go straight into our local club in Inter Miami CF at the top of the next hour. So stay tuned for that big signing. But man, I am just so excited for the men's national team. Cannot wait for the 25th and the 28th against Jamaica and Northern Ireland. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for the second hour as we talk Inter Miami CF. And also, Sundays on Onside Radio, we continue to provide you the kind of sports talk South Florida fans all desire. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., tune into the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
At OnsideRadio.com.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong. Deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
The sport is headed in a direction where it's going to die because the fan base is dying. It's people my age or older that follow baseball, and we're dying. And so they're not getting any of the new fans. Young fans, the whole sport is all screwed up, dude. From the cheating scandals to the way they mismanage it, by the way, the way it has not gone and changed with modern times, the fact that baseball players are so freaking ignorant that they don't understand that they've got to market their own game. The wussiest thing in the world is you hit a home run on me, so now I'm going to plunk you. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Riddle me this, with all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back. We're back for the second hour. Red Card Radio here. For the last couple weeks, I've opened up with Inter Miami talk, but I've saved it. For the second hour today, some big news that I kind of teased last week. I wasn't fully informed. I didn't really know about it, but then it ended up happening. And we'll get into that. For the next, probably the whole hour here, we'll talk Inter Miami because there's just always so much to talk about. The league starting. And as I mentioned this morning, they're training right over a couple feet away from me. Not too far. They're training. And it's exciting to see that. And I mentioned the whole training video I saw, but we'll get into that later. We also potentially had a special guest today, but we might have to wait till next week for that. I won't say too much, but we are trying very hard to get someone special on the show. I'm not going to go too much into it, but eventually we could have a really cool guest on here to talk with us about the club. But I'm going to talk about the club for now and tell you about how Inter Miami signed the left back / left midfielder / left winger Jovan Jones from Seattle. He was an MLS free agent, and he is now finally on the team. He's probably training with us now because he's in the U.S. And I mean, look, we needed a left back, and when I talk about this roster, I would always mention how the left side of his team was very, very, very weak. Very weak. And this is going to help massively. Left back, I mean, it's an upgrade from Ben Sweat. I'll say that. And it's an upgrade from starting either Patrick Seegers or Breck Shea as a left back. That's good. Jovan Jones is a 2-time MLS Cup winner, which is big. The MLS experience is very valuable. And I've talked about it before. There's a lot of times where I go ahead and mention MLS experience, and it all comes from an old friend of mine. Not old friend, I mean, he's still my friend. But Pedro Heiser, who I used to work with on the at the 5 Reasons Sports channel, he basically he would always talk about how, with Diego Alonso here, he didn't really know the league. And that was okay. That was fine, but playing the guys that have the MLS experience is important because the league is a lot different than any other league around the world. Now, especially in its first season, this team needed MLS talent. And it didn't really have that for the most part. When he brought in LGP, it was like, okay, this is refreshing. Matuidi, I mean, he's just a worldwide talent. That's different. But a lot of these guys weren't accustomed to the league. We weren't playing the De La Garzas or the Alvis Powells or any of those guys in this first team for a while. And it took till later on in the year till we had to play them because of suspension and injury to go ahead and do that. When you look at the roster now with the Jovan Jones signing, I think you have a really good mix of talent and MLS experience. And I can now call some of these guys experienced in MLS because they played an entire year in the league. And that's good. There's a good roster now, and I'm excited for it. The thing about Jovan Jones, I am very, very surprised that this signing was announced before the MLS, wraps up their investigation about the Matuidi signing. I was kind of waiting for that to wrap up and then this announced. But I must say, I think me personally, and my good friend and colleague who I talk about a lot, Alex Winley, her specifically, she caught on to Jovan Jones putting Inter Miami CF in his bio on Instagram. We both tweeted it out, and it got some attention on Twitter, and it was going around. And I'm not sure, but I would like to say that might have forced Inter Miami to announce the signing. Maybe I'm fully wrong. I probably am fully wrong, but I like to think that way. No, but I really thought that if it were to happen and when it was to happen, at a point after Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald reported on it, it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. I was really expecting it to happen after the Matuidi investigation. But after we, released and showed that Jovan Jones put Inter Miami CF in his bio, it was announced that he was signed just a day later. So I'll let you think what you want about that. I've got my thoughts. All jokes. Now, what this does is I need you guys, if anybody who is an Inter Miami CF fan still thinks that Kieran Gibbs is coming, give up on it. Please. I'm tired of it. It should have never been a thing in the first place. And I said it. And I'm not going to name any names. And I'm not going to name any publications. But there was a quote-unquote news drop a couple weeks back. And it was, Kieran Gibbs is going to be followed by Ryan Shawcross. And I think I spent almost a whole segment on it on this show about how Kieran Gibbs was not coming to Inter Miami before the season started, and if at all. I didn't really have faith that he was coming at all, but definitely not when the season started. Give up on Kieran Gibbs. Now with Jovan Jones signing, we don't need him at all, but it was never a good idea in the first place. What would be the point of, one, Kieran Gibbs giving up his West Brom contract, where he's making a ton of money just to sit, not even in the 18-man squad. He doesn't even play. He's just making a ton of money. Why would he allow West Brom and or Inter Miami, why would he allow them to buy his contract out when he's just sitting pretty, making a ton of money? It doesn't make sense. And it also doesn't make sense for Inter Miami to spend all that money to buy him out just to wait for him to get here. Now, I understand Gibbs might have helped this team a lot, but so does Jovan Jones. And it's at a way less cost, a lot less risk to sign Jovan Jones as it was for Kieran Gibbs. You'd have to waste a lot of money to bring Gibbs here. And, not to mention, if it didn't happen in the offseason, it was happening in July. July. The middle of the season. We saw what that did last year, and maybe there was some help. But it's not great, and it's not ideal to add players in the middle of the season. I never thought Kieran Gibbs was going to come to Inter Miami, and I definitely don't think it now. And if I just need that to be pushed past and give up on it. Jovan Jones is going to be the starting left back for this team, I believe. I really do. This is fully Chris Henderson's influence. Obviously, I think this is now the second signing that you can really just point to Chris Henderson and say, "Yep, that was you, Chris Henderson. Thank you." As for Jovan Jones and also for Grigore signing, Chris Henderson was eyeing Grigore for multiple years. Finally brought him. Believe the Seattle bid was rejected a year ago or whatever it was. And now he's in Inter Miami. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. Jovan Jones, as a left back, gives me a sort of it gives me this level of comfortability, because when I think about Breck Shea as the starting left back, I wasn't like, all right, yeah, we're going to be really solid on that side. When I think of Patrick Segrist as a left back starting, if that were to happen, I wasn't confident. I wasn't. And as much as those two guys are quality football players, and Segrist has a ton of potential as a young guy, but Breck Shea as a goal-scoring threat is better than him as a defender. And that's looking at the stats of last year. I want Breck Shea to be coming off the bench to score headers at the back post against Atlanta United. I don't want him to be starting at left back. Now, the depth is good. It's really good. And if, Breck Shea does need to end up coming to play left back because Jovan Jones, something happens, that's fine. That's okay. But now you have a sure starter in Jovan Jones. And Jovan Jones has this ability to go forward. Used as a winger before as a player for the Trinidad and Tobago first team. Not a lot of people love that about him, but he can go forward. I would rather him be a defender for us, and I think he will be, 100%. But his ability to go forward will be great in a Phil Neville 4-3-3. I mentioned this a lot, and I know I'm almost confident, like fully confident, that Phil Neville is going to play a 4-3-3, and the wing play is going to be very, very important. Lewis Morgan, Dylan Neas, maybe Figal is going to have a lot to do on the right side, just as Lucy Bronze did for the England's women's national team. I look at the left side, and I look at Jovan Jones, and I'm like, your overlapping runs are going to be very important. Very, very important. His play between whoever plays on the left side of the midfield is probably Matuidi. The link-up play there, the link-up play to maybe Pellegrini or Azcona or whoever else is in front of him. Maybe Pizarro plays on the left wing. That is important in a Phil Neville 4-3-3. In his style of play, Jovan Jones is an ideal player. An ideal player. And I think that this signing is, gone under the radar a little bit. I think that, this is a starter every single game. He's 29, still in the prime of his career, an MLS veteran. He knows the league, and he fits into the style of play that is likely to happen from day one from Phil Neville. This is a good signing, just as Grigore was, just as Shawcross was. They've had a really good offseason into Miami, a very good offseason, and I am getting more and more confident about the team. We're going to keep talking about the team coming up for the rest of the hour. Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports and when news breaks. Catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere. It's OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is on. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Lining up for that pressure kick, here's your host, Austin Robillard, with Red Card Radio.
All right, and we are back live on Red Card Radio and Onside Radio from Inter Miami CF Stadium. Great stuff here. Talking about Inter Miami, their training, just a couple fields away. We had the academy kids playing, and the trainings look good. I said it at the beginning of the show today at 11 o'clock about the YouTube video that I saw of Phil Neville. It's about 6 minutes long, mic'd up, watching, going through training. And let me just say, totally different feel for the team now than I had last year. Let's look at this. So the intensity and the pressing that we have, that we had last year, I think it'll be taken to a new level this year. And there is just something about watching this training that makes me think that Inter Miami are going to be a good team. A playoff team. I'll say that. A playoff team this year. I think they've got it in them to do it. Phil Neville seems to love Edison Azcona, by the way. It's great. The whole team seems to. And I think I'm a fan of Azcona as well. He's a promising young talent. Congrats to him for actually getting called up to the U23s, the Olympic qualifying for the Dominican Republic national team. That's great stuff, man. I mean, it's great stuff. Now, I want to talk about Ryan Shawcross and Grigore here because in training they are not here yet, and we don't have a full team training at the moment, and this fully has to do with, international visas and the paperwork and all this kinds of stuff. So Alex Swindley did great work here, and we can see, when you look at the Alexandre Pato signing and the Tomas Pochettino signing for Austin FC. Pochettino wasn't signed for Austin FC until February 11th. He just joined the team in Austin 3 days ago. And he wouldn't be available to start training until a week after that. Pato was signed on February 13th and was announced yesterday in Orlando. Maybe he has to wait another, I don't know how long. Shawcross was signed on February 20th, and Grigore was signed officially on the 24th. They both need visas to come here and play. They both might have to wait the 7 days to train because of quarantine. So doing all the math and trying to line it up with the numbers of Pato and Pochettino, Grigore might not be playing with the team until the 22nd or the 23rd of this month, and Shawcross on maybe the 18th or the 19th. So by next week and a little after that, maybe 2 weeks from now, we can expect them to be maybe in South Florida if the process goes well and maybe training with the team. That's how the math is working. And it sucks that they can't join right away and they're not training with the team now, but they're both really, really, really quality players and veterans that know the game well. I think the Grigore impact will be stronger than the Shawcross impact. I've said that. I think Grigore is an in-and-out starter, nonstop, no matter what. Like, Grigore needs to be in the team. Shawcross, not so much. Now, we also got a schedule release, or a partial one, for Inter Miami. All the home openers were announced, and we're getting a redo. If you don't remember, I think by this time last year, Inter Miami were supposed to be taking on LA Galaxy at home, but this was shut down after Rudy Gobert touched a bunch of microphones and the coronavirus pandemic just went crazy. Just went nuts. It destroyed the home opener. Miami didn't get to play in their home stadium for months afterwards. But now, finally, on April 18th, fingers are crossed, we get to play LA Galaxy at home. I posted on Twitter, I had my flag from the actual game that was supposed to happen last year, and it's like the debut flag, and it says the dates and everything, and I posted on Twitter, I crossed out like all of the old dates, and I put the new ones on. Instead of inaugural season, I put second season. Just, for jokes. But we're finally going to get a game, and I think that is a very winnable game. That is opening weekend, by the way. April 17th and 18th is opening weekend. 18th is a Sunday. Very, very winnable game in a LA Galaxy team that struggled last year. Haven't made insane improvements. Actually, are losing Pavone. Maybe Chicharito is better this year. I don't know. But this is a very winnable game, and hopefully we can get 3 points to start the season. Then 6 days later, we will be playing in the Philadelphia Union home opener, April 24th. That's big, Playing in another team's home opener is kind of like, obviously it doesn't have everything to do with it, but it's tough because, like, I don't know. Maybe without the fans aspect, it's not as crazy, but if it was packed stadiums and you're playing in their first game of the season at home, like, that makes it harder on a team. But there's also another game that we have that's another team's home opener, and it's May 17th away versus FC Cincinnati in their new stadium, I believe. That is, Cincinnati is obviously a very winnable game. They also haven't improved that much. And playing away from home is always something. But, again, it's another home opener. So 3 Inter Miami games were announced. I don't think that we will have the schedule for a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks from now. We might have the full schedule. But we do have 3 games. I think Inter Miami got the most games announced. I think the LA Galaxy game is at 2 o'clock. It'll be on ABC, not prime time, but it'll be on prime television, which is big. I think last year I saw a stat that Inter Miami this didn't actually happen because of the pandemic, but the schedule, when it got released, Miami had the most primetime and nationally televised games in all of MLS, of any other club. I wonder if it'll be the same this year. I'm not totally sure if it will, because obviously the club didn't perform entirely well. But if that is true again, there's a lot of pressure. There's obviously a lot of pressure because we're trying to be a worldwide club. To become a global brand, you have to perform very, very well. They did not do that last year, and Phil Neville's got to turn this team around. I'm pausing here because I just... There are so many expectations I have for this team. I'm getting very excited about them. And as the schedule's getting released, you think about the teams that you're going to play. Like Philadelphia Union's always going to be a tough game. I want to say that this will be a playoff team, and I think it will be. Do I think they go far? No, but if there is some camaraderie and chemistry within the team, this can be a successful team. And it all lays on the hands of the big-name players, the Pizarros, the Higuains, the Matuidis, now the Gregores, the LGPs. And one more name that I'm so glad is staying around, Lewis Morgan. He signed a new contract through 2023. He's probably going to be getting a lot more money. I think he's being elevated to a TAM player, so that'll be good for him. I mean, for the roster, I mean, it is what it is, but you have to keep Lewis Morgan on this team. He was by far MVP of last season. We all know that. And his quality on this roster, I mean, everything went through him last year. I don't think it'll be like that this year. But whenever Inter Miami were attacking, it was Lewis Morgan, right? It was. Down the right side, sometimes he switched over to the left if he needed to, took all the set pieces, whipped in crosses, took long shots, had a lot of assists, had a lot of goals. Everything was through Lewis Morgan, right? Giving him more money and keeping him here through 2023 is not something I would have expected, a couple weeks ago or months ago when I didn't know, too much intel on the team. But to know he's sticking around is good. And I'm happy he's happy because he freaking deserves it, man. He's a quality player. And I think that his talents may go above MLS level, but if you're going to pay him the right money and he's happy in South Florida, he's obviously going to stay. So that's good. I'm happy for it. I'm happy for him and for the club. Keeping this guy around. He's going to sell jerseys this year. Everyone knows how valuable he is and how good he was last year. So I'm happy he's staying around. We're going to go to break here in just a second. I have a very special guest getting ready to join us. We'll get into it right away, right after, but we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans, OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take On-Side Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at onsideradio.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. I cook all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl. All right.
Well, if I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, welcome in, everybody. I have some great news for all the listeners at the moment and anybody listening on any podcast platform after the recording. We're getting ready to be joined by Inter Miami CF keeper Dylan Castanera. He's joining us. Man, I am very excited to get to talk to him. I think he's on the line now. Or not just yet, but he'll be on the line very shortly. It kind of was almost a last-minute thing. I told you guys that we potentially had, a special guest getting ready to join us, and we do have it. He's part of this goalkeeping unit that's led by John McCarthy this year. He played for Fort Lauderdale CF last year, and we are going to get to talk to him in this segment. So I want to introduce you now to Dylan Castanera. He's here on the phone with us. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining. We talked a little bit over Twitter because I unfortunately tweeted an error, and you reached out and kindly let me know. So I'm going to formally apologize for that on air. But thanks so much for doing that.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
You just a quality guy, and it was really cool that you reached out. And I'm glad we're getting to do this
absolutely.
and talk. I wanted to ask you first. I'm going to go straight into the training. And I saw a video that was posted on the Inter Miami CF Instagram. Gonzalo Higuain scored a goal on you, and it was a nice one. What's it like playing against a world-class talent like Gonzalo Higuain in training?
It's something that, I'm still getting used to. He's just on another level. And when he gets the ball inside the 18, he's pretty much automatic, as you saw in that video. So, it's a pleasure to train with him and train with a guy that's played at the highest level. And, it's beneficial for everyone when you have a guy in training like that pushes himself and pushes everyone around him every day. It's just an unbelievable experience. So.
It's good to hear, and you told me when we were talking earlier that the team is looking really good. Can you speak on that? What's training been like? And we'll go into the goalkeepers, but as a whole, like what's training been like? Has Phil Neville, he speaks about intensity. Is it getting intense out there in this Florida heat? And what's it been like? What's the overall mood of the team and morale?
Yeah, from day one, the gaffer, Phil Neville, set his expectations out, and the guys have met that with full force. The training sessions have been really competitive, really high level, high intensity, and, in the first couple of weeks of preseason, that's really all you can ask for. Obviously, with the more time you put into it, the more touches you get, the quality will begin to rise, but the competitiveness, the intensity has been, exactly what you would want at this stage of preseason.
It's good to hear that. We didn't get much insight into training last year, and I know you were part of Fort Lauderdale CF last year. What's the change been like playing from a USL League One team to now playing for the first team at an MLS club? Is there a difference there?
I would say the biggest difference is, just the physicality and, the age of the group, coming from a team last year that was mainly a developmental side, really focused on pushing guys up through the academy and, giving them a platform to then springboard themselves into the first team. It was a very young group with, a lot of guys under the age of 20, 21. So, stepping into an environment where you're playing with grown men, I've been doing this for a living for quite some time. That's been the biggest change. But, fortunately, I think I've made that transition pretty well and, looking forward to the rest of preseason to continue to grow and develop in that respect.
It's good to hear that. And I want to also talk about the goalkeeping unit. So it's you have also Drake Callender and John McCarthy. Last year, John McCarthy kind of stepped into a role that we didn't expect right away. Luis Robles unfortunately went down. He was the team captain, and John McCarthy had a lot of big shoes to fill. Has he taken on a leadership role of this goalkeeping unit? And what's his mentorship been like towards you so far?
Absolutely, yeah. He's taken on a very big leadership role, not only in the goalkeeper unit, but as a team on the team as a whole. And he's been great. Kind of putting me and Drake under his wing and kind of guiding us through these first couple weeks of preseason. He's been through all levels of U.S. soccer, playing in the champ, playing in USL, playing in MLS back in his Philly days, and you can see that experience just flowing through him at all times. And the way he conducts himself both on and off the field is just a real pleasure to get to work with every day.
It's good to hear that because he wasn't when you looked at the team last year, it was Luis Robles. He's the leader, and it had to be so tough for him. But I'm glad he's been around, to adapt to that. And I also wanted to ask you, before Fort Lauderdale CF, if I'm not mistaken, you were with Atlanta United too. Did you ever how long did it take for you to think or have you ever gotten around to the fact that I'm on an MLS club now? Your career, you started off, at college level, and then you went to Atlanta United too, and then Fort Lauderdale CF, and now you're called up to the first team. What's that experience been like for you?
It's been great. I've always had a lot of confidence in my ability. I always knew that, someday down the line that this was going to be the level that I was going to end up at. Mm-hmm. I think the most important thing for me in my early years of development was just getting the opportunity to play games. And I'm really thankful for my time in Atlanta that they were able to do that for me. I played in over 20 USL games there. Yep. And I think that was really important for me at that stage of my career to, get that experience, get those games under my belt, and now kind of use that as a platform to springboard into my MLS career.
With the unit, Drake Callender and McCarthy, the you three guys, it makes it so solid. What can we expect from the I guess, the back line too? It's really important you have to be vocal as a goalkeeper. I actually played a little bit myself in high school. I wasn't great. I was a backup, but it's okay. I played a little bit. Yeah. And, the goalkeeping unit is so important. You have to be vocal. What can we expect from the goalkeeping unit this year? We probably could see John McCarthy as the number one to start the season, but as a whole, are you really confident that you three guys are going to hold it down between the sticks?
Without a doubt. I mean, this is a really competitive group, but we're also a very close group as well. You know, we've got each other's backs, and I have no doubt that with the work we put in practice and the standard that we hold each other to every day, that you're going to see a very competent and a very successful goalkeeping core at Inter Miami this year.
That is great to hear, and it's like I say again, Luis Robles was like the guy. He's a veteran. He was older and he was a leader, and it's changed now. It's you and Calendar who are 25 and younger. McCarthy, he's not also. I mean, he's not over 30. It's not like an old keeper. Like when you think about keepers that are great now, you have like the Neuers of the world, the Buffons, but it's a younger core, and that's really good to see because going forward, that's the future of the team. So speaking of the future, speaking of the future of the team, I mean. Expectations for this year for you guys? I mean, where are our heads at in terms of how the season goes on?
I mean, like I said, from day one, the gaffer laid out his expectations for the team. And, when this team was founded, when it was started to be built, there was only one goal in mind, and that was to be MLS Cup champions. And, obviously we had a bit of an underwhelming season last year, but, I have no doubt that we'll, improve on last year's performance and make a run of the playoffs and see where we end up. But, we set our goals very high this year. And that's come straight from the coach, and everyone's bought in, and everyone's really excited for this year.
And then in terms of, I know you're not with them anymore, but Fort Lauderdale CF, I mean, you saw what the idea was there and the concept of how, the Fort Lauderdale CF team will mimic the first team. You also have, like, you were coached by Jason Kreese, who's now you're going to be Phil Neville's assistant for the first team. Can you speak on Fort Lauderdale CF this year and what the expectations for them are as well? I mean, do you see a really good unit down there that's being built through the academy?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the goal will continue to be to push guys up into the first team. You saw 3 homegrown signings this year with Felipe, Ian, and Edison. And I think that's going to be the goal, really going forward is to, give those guys opportunities and a platform to be able to join this group on the first team. And, I give that staff all the credit in the world. It's the best USL staff for me in the entire U.S. hockey system. So, wow. They've been doing a great job so far. They'll continue to do a great job.
I wanted to ask you, too, about, like, those. I mean, Felipe Valencia, Edison Azcona, Ian Frey, those were your teammates, and they all moved up with you.
Yeah.
4 guys from Fort Lauderdale CF moving up. Speak on them. I mean, Azcona, Dominican Republic first team guy. Ian Frey, unfortunately, goes down with a really tough injury. We wish him all the best. Felipe Valencia was the first one to be signed. I mean, is it cool to have, like, your old teammates move up with you into the first team?
Oh, definitely. It's been great seeing their development over the last year or so, them transitioning from young boys into young men joining this group. And, I have really high hopes for the 3 of them. And it's like you said, it's unfortunate that Ian went down injured, but I have no doubt that he's going to come back stronger than ever. And in a year's time, he'll be back with us and, picking up right where he left off.
And if I want to ask you this too, I mean, in training, I got like a small glimpse of what it was like. They did like a Phil Neville mic'd up kind of thing, and we got to see like a 6-minute YouTube video of what the training was like. And it seemed like the team really, like, Edison Azcona seems to be like Phil Neville seems to really like him. Is that like a thing that I noticed and I'm correct about? Like, he gets called Eddie. He's got the nickname already. It was his birthday the other day. What's Azcona been like? He's one of, like, I guess when it comes to young talent, playing for the Dominican first team is a big deal. He's obviously a super talented guy. I mean, your expectations for him and what's it been like with him in training?
I think his personality has been second to none. He stepped in and, when most guys would be a little shy and a little, keeping to themselves, he had his personality. He's laughing, he's joking, and I think the guys have taken to that really well. And, he's kind of the little brother on the team right now where everyone's just really taken to him and, putting him under our wings. And yeah, we have high hopes for him.
That's really awesome. And then lastly, I wanted to ask you personally, like, what are your goals for yourself this year? Like, how do you expect yourself to improve as a goalkeeper, moving up? Like we talked, like I said, this is a young goalkeeping unit. You don't get that everywhere across the league. Like, what are your personal goals for this year all the way through the 2021 season?
I'll say the only thing I could ask and expect of myself is to continue to grow and develop. I think I've gotten better every year that I've been a pro. And, I don't see that really changing. I know I'm going to improve this year, and working with this goalkeeping core, working with the coaching staff, I have every belief in myself that I'll continue to develop in that respect. And yeah, I'm just really excited for my first year in the MLS.
Very excited for you too, my man. And I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. I'm excited for the season.
Of course.
And I appreciate you coming on, and I wish you guys all the best of luck and all the best health going through 2021. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope training was okay. Go recover well, and we'll see you on the pitch hopefully soon, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Go and check out Dylan. You can check him out on Twitter. He at Dill_Castanera. You can follow him with Inter Miami. He is a goalkeeper on the team at the moment. And it's just really, really a pleasure to get to talk to him. And we're going to wrap up this show in just a little bit here. We're going to have some crosstalk with David Friedman coming up. And, man, thanks so much to Castanera. That was a great, great pleasure. Really, really, really awesome. Heat and NBA fans, catch Ira Winderman here exclusively at OnsideRadio.com with our accurate of Pembroke Pines and Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnsideRadio.com. And when news breaks, basketball fans know Onside Radio is the place you get the insight you need. It's OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
You don't expect.
I'm not an Etienne fan, but I'm selecting Najee Harris in the first. I think when we're all said and done, and the real evaluators start to pick this draft apart and start to really look at talent, Najee Harris doesn't have any flaws, bro.
No. You have to take him at 18. But he's not going to be there at 35. You got to take him at 18.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. No question. To me, if I'm trading for Deshaun Watson, I'm making sure you can have whatever you want, Houston, but you can't have my 18th pick because I want to use that pick on Najee Harris, and hopefully he's there for Miami. But that's a horse, bro. That's a horse. That's a man's running back, and that's what I'm attracted to.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy.
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back here. I'm joined by the man himself, Taco, or David Friedman, which is his actual name, but I like to go with Taco. It's a fun one. He's joined here for some crosstalk. He's got a show from 1 to 2 every Saturday now. He's going to be behind me. We're going to get to talk to him every single week. It's the second time we get to talk to him. Very, very excited about it. Taco, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and actually, it means you listen to at least part of my show. So, yes, I do have a name, but it continues to be the Taco thing.
Yep.
So we'll go with that for now. But I'm good, man. I was up until like 6 o'clock in the morning. No sleep. I'm here. I'm feeling good right now, man.
You got here and you got the mic in front of your face. The headphones are on, and that's really
lights on, shows on.
Exactly. How was your first show? How'd it go?
It was all right, man. Like, I'm so used to doing everything and I'm grabbing my mask. So, I got told that I've been doing this the whole entire time while I was on camera.
Well, because it's falling. I mean, it happens.
So I had to buy a new mask.
Okay.
It was supposed to be for that and also for my glasses to not fog up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So neither one of those two things seem to be working so far. And I'm not even into my show yet. And I'm already pulling this up. So we're working on some things, man. I got back. My wife had like a list of things for me to work on.
Okay.
So I have a good support system there. But
that's good.
All in all, I got back to Taco. What I do on YouTube to some degree. So we're going for perfect. I said last week.
Okay.
On week 2.
Perfect in week 2.
Perfect.
Wow. I don't think perfect is. Listen, that is a good goal to have.
There's no such thing. So
yeah, that's true. It's a good goal to have though. I've definitely never been perfect on this on my show before. 2 hours I got a little crazy after talking about soccer for so long, but yeah, I want to say congrats to you for getting the show. And I did listen to some of the first show, and you were talking about your name and everything like that, and how you got it, and just really, really cool. I'm happy for you, man. And I mean, I wanted to ask you now. I mean, what's coming up between the 1 and 2 o'clock hour? What can some listeners expect?
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna do the typical Heat. Heat lost or Heat won last night. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy buckets, baby.
Yep.
So they won last night. We're gonna talk about that. We'll get into some Dolphins and Tua. More what I do. I'm bringing my dad on as my guest today.
Oh.
So that should be interesting more than anything else.
What's lined up for that conversation?
Yeah. You just have to listen and find
all
out,
right,
man.
All right.
That's what it is.
Not going to give too much away.
Taco Senior, although he's Jewish, full blood. So Taco Senior.
Oh, so Heat talk. I mean, 9 wins in the last 10 games, I think it is?
Yeah, 9 out of 10, 3 in a row, no Bam.
Yeah.
Jimmy going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's anchoring the team. For some reason, he wasn't. I mean, the whole thing about us not having an all-star is just crazy. And, like, if they were to announce all-stars now, it would be Jimmy and Bam would be there because we're 4th seed in the East, right?
Everything the way it happened the first half of the season, and I kept pointing back to that, like, it was sort of a blessing in disguise, but I don't mind the snub, quote-unquote.
Right.
Look, they were in the finals. They kept talking about the Lakers and the Heat have the least amount of off-season. Okay, so give him a break. I mean, Look, he came back, obviously, pretty good after the break, so we all know what matters down here. We don't worry about regular season game. Well, most of Twitter does, but, we're looking for the playoffs, so healthy bodies is what I continue to say, man. Just get back to the playoffs with healthy bodies.
Right.
See what happens.
And the regular season in the NBA it's just like... It's you find things in there, but like for the most part, if you're a top 8 seed, you're gonna get to a top 8 seed, and then you have to start performing in the playoffs. The regular season is kind of, I think it was overblown in the beginning, the struggles in the beginning, like this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fully overblown, an overreaction, but that's South Florida sports.
Both sides, like the wins get overblown, but the reality is now it's there's a play-in game, so it's really like the top 10 seeds.
Right.
Look, man, just make it to the end. Survive.
Exactly.
Advance,
Survive in advance.
March
Actually,
Madness.
I was gonna say we have March Madness coming up. Are you gonna do any? I mean, do you say you do fantasy?
Right.
Do we do college basketball players too, or are we gonna bet on just teams, or what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'll do my typical like pick'em tournament thing, which I'll throw like a pencil at the ceiling and see if it sticks kind of thing to pick my, But no, I don't. The Prize Pick stuff. It's funny. Like we've been talking for a while. I ask you for the soccer stuff, and there's some other people, as you see, like I'll go to if I see that they're constantly playing college basketball or hockey.
Crazy.
I'm like, hey man, like I don't really know about this, but I'm here to win some money. So if you have something to share, like flip it my way. So yeah, I'll get into it if I have someone telling me that they're pretty confident with their money. So
I got screwed yesterday. I had a two-player. It was 2 strikers, and it was getting towards the end of the game. I had a guy over 3.9 or something like that, and every goal is worth 5. And he scores a late goal, like 88th minute, right before. Scores a goal, and I'm like, boom, I hit, I'm good. I'm getting my 3 times money for the 2-pick power, and I was happy. Maybe 2 minutes later, I'm scrolling on Twitter. The game's still going on. Scrolling on Twitter, I see the Premier League tweeted, it has been changed to an own goal.
They gave it
as an own goal instead of a regular goal. Destroyed. Man,
it happens a lot with like assists and rebounds.
Yeah.
Where, they give you some leeway at the end. Typically, they're pretty good about it as far as stat corrections being on time. But like fantasy football, it happens the next day sometimes. And people wake up with an L, so it can be tough.
And I guess it was an own goal. He dove down and headed a ball, and it kind of hit off a defender's leg, and it went in. And I guess the way in soccer they do it, like if it wasn't originally going to be on target and it's like swayed by the defender, they'll call it an own goal. But just give the guy credit. If he never headed the ball,
Well, it's like the idea of a goaltend where it's like the closest guy on offense, and he could be 20 feet away. But,
right. So it's just. Man, it sucked a little bit, but it's okay. We're going to get back into
bad
it.
Beats.
Bad beats, yeah.
Sure.
Bring on Scott Van Pelt.
I try and go with the idea of like the Dwight Schrute with the beats.
Yeah, the beats.
I have a plan to wear my shirt with the bad beats.
Okay. Little Office reference there.
Yeah, that's my thing.
All right, well, I'm going to let you take over in just a couple of seconds here, and I want to say thank you to all the Red Card Radio listeners. I really appreciate you guys listening, and as for Austin Robillard, it's me, and David Freeman's coming on up. Peace out, guys.
The flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Big O. Air quality in your home or business is so important now, folks. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning. Let them install high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. M&S is always on call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. and, of course, emergency Sundays. Call for more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans. Visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
Onside Radio presents Taco Bout Sports with David Friedman. Time to enter the twisted world of Taco Bout Sports. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's a man who loves tacos and loves to taco bout sports.
Hey, welcome back to Talk About Sports with David Friedman. Yes, that's my name and the title of the show. I think what happens is once you make it to radio, your level up badge to some degree is that you get to put your name on the show. So that's what I figured out. So I'm excited to have my name on a show here. I just want to welcome you aboard. Look, the first episode, I promised that I would come back week 2 and be